7 most dominant NBA players ever. What does being a dominant player mean? Quite simply, it means being able to transcend the era you played in. The definitive superstar of your time? Well, then hop in a time machine and be that same superstar you were in your era to the one you have been transported to. Numbers so great that they should demand the critics do a double take just to believe in them. Highlights so fancy and exhilarating that they are worthy of running on a 24-hour loop. Resume so extraordinary that it speaks for itself. And with all that said, let's count down to the 7 most dominant players in the history of the NBA. 7. Bill Russell, 11-time NBA champion, 5-time NBA MVP, 12-time NBA All-Star, 3-time All-NBA First Team, 8-time All-NBA Second Team, the greatest winner of all time. More rings than fingers. No single individual in the history of basketball has ever come close to winning as much Bill Russell did. From 1959 to 1966, the Celtics won 8 straight NBA championships with Russell leading the charge. In a stellar 13-year career, he went to the finals a total of 12 times, accumulating an overall record of 11 wins and 1 losses. In fact, he won the last 2 championships as a player coach, which serves as a tribute to his basketball acumen. The reason there is no NBA Finals MVP in his resume is that they named the honor after him. Generally regarded as the greatest defensive basketball player of all time, the big man from Louisiana would have been a force to be reckoned with in any era because, as we know, defense wins championships. Also, RIP GOAT. 6. Steph Curry, the Shaq of point guards. While the Diesel collapsed defenses, Steph expands them, taking the three-point philosophy of Mike D'Antoni and turning it up a couple notches. Defenses have to stay up on him full court, which his handles and elusiveness make impossible to do. He'll then pull up from half court and make it 43.5% of the time. He is, without a doubt, the greatest shooter of all time after becoming the career leader in made three-pointers. Compared to most of the guys on this list, though, Curry was a slow starter. He had issues with his ankles early in his career, forcing us to wait to see the greatness that we caught glimpses of during his time in college at Davidson. Warriors fans booed then-new owner Joe Lacob on Chris Mullin night because he gave the team to Steph after trading fan favorite Monta Ellis for Andrew Bogut. Golden State won their first championship in 4 decades 3 years later. Now he's the first unanimous MVP in league history, which is pretty stupid, but still, and has 4 rings to go with another MVP. With his latest title, he finally knocked off Finals MVP off his checklist after a dominant performance against the Boston Celtics. There's absolutely nothing left for Steph to accomplish, and that's why he ranks in our top 10 list. We're already seeing Steph's impact on basketball as kids start launching from deep earlier than ever in their young careers, and on the league with NBA teams, putting the mid-range jumper out to pasture and fully embracing the three-pointer. A member of the league's 75th anniversary team, Curry is easily one of the most influential players to lace him up. 5. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 6-time NBA champion, 6-time NBA MVP, 2-time NBA Finals MVP, 19-time NBA All-Star, 10-time All-NBA First Team, 5-time All-NBA Second Team. With 38,387 points to his name, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar sits second of the very top of the NBA all-time points scored. Took home 2 NBA Finals MVP, one in 1971 and the other in 1985. Went to the NBA Finals a whopping 10 times. Never has a single player achieved both individual and team success at the level Jabbar did, and no other player maintained the astounding level of consistency, well, there's LeBron, that the player formerly known as Lou Alcindor did for 2 full decades. But the number one reason Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would have been a dominant force, no matter the era, lies in the fact that he possessed the most unstoppable shot the game has ever seen, the skyhook. 4. LeBron James. LeBron James career stats: 40,474 points, 27.1 ppg, 11,185 rebounds, 7.5 rpg, 11,009 assists, 7.4 rpg, 2,275 steals, 1.5 spg, 263.7 win shares, arguably the greatest of all time. LeBron James entered the NBA as the first overall pick in the 2003 draft, and from there, he became a four-time MVP and a perennial All-Star, ranking second in both All-Star selections and games played. He is the first player in NBA history to reach 40,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, and 10,000 assists, a record that will likely remain unbeaten for decades. Moreover, on February 8, 2023, he became the all-time leading scorer, surpassing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The debate over the greatest of all time has never been as heated as it has been since 2012, the year of his first NBA championship. Since then, LeBron James has climbed the pyramid, surpassing other legends such as Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Wilt Chamberlain. LeBron James has played the most career minutes in the regular season and playoffs, with 68,456 minutes on the court. There will always be a LeBron James versus Michael Jordan debate, with answers often dictated by generations and preferences for style of play. One undeniable thing, James is one of the two best NBA players ever. He is the NBA's all-time leading scorer, has 10 NBA Finals appearances, won championships with 3 different franchises, and he somehow exceeded the expectations of a player who was viewed as a Hall of Fame talent coming out of high school. 4 NBA Finals MVPs, 4 regular season MVPs, 20 All-Star selections, 13 All-NBA first-team selections, and the only NBA player ever with at least 30,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, and 10 assists. At the very least, those accomplishments are worthy of being considered the best to ever do it. Plus, LeBron James is the only player in NBA history to score 40,000 points. He embodies the unselfish teammate. He takes meticulous care of his body and has been able to stay healthy for the majority of his career. Simply put, no athlete in any sport has been able to sustain this level of physical dominance for this long like LeBron has. He is the definition of efficiency itself. 3. Michael Jordan, 6-time NBA champion, 5-time NBA MVP, 6-time NBA Finals MVP, 14-time NBA All-Star, 10-time All-NBA First Team, 1-time All-NBA Second Team, arguably the greatest of all time. With the only guard on the list, it is a testament to the greatness of the one simply known as MJ. His brilliance on both ends of the court has never been matched. Going 6 for 6 in the NBA Finals with 6 Finals MVP made Michael Jordan truly unstoppable on the hardwood floor. He is also only one of 2 players to have accumulated more than 3,000 points in a season, which he did in the 1986-87 season when he averaged 37.1 points per game. His offensive mastery often leads people to forget about his defensive brilliance. A 9-time member of the All-Defensive First Team, 3-time steals leader, and the recipient of the NBA Defensive Player of the Year award in 1988, Michael Jordan could very highly debatably lay claim to being the greatest all-around player of all time, too. His averages for the NBA Finals read as 33.6 points, 6.0 assists, and 6.0 rebounds. All we can do is look at those numbers and shrug. There may never be another Michael Jordan, in this lifetime or another. 2. Shaquille O'Neal, 4-time NBA champion, 1-time NBA MVP, 3-time NBA Finals MVP, 15-time NBA All-Star, 8-time All-NBA First Team, 2-time All-NBA Second Team. What happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? Shaquille O'Neal happens. Averaging 23.4 points, 3.5 blocks, and 13.9 rebounds as a rookie for the Orlando Magic, there was no doubt that the big Aristotle was destined to be a superstar, but it was as a member of the Los Angeles Lakers that the Shaqtus become a true legend of the game. In a tenure which lasted for 8 years, he averaged 27.0 points, 11.8 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks. And when the stage was the biggest, he shines the brightest. Going to the NBA Finals a total of 6 times, he averaged 28.8 points and 13.1 rebounds. Those numbers skyrocketed to 33.6 points and 13.9 rebounds as a part of the gold and purple. His Lakers were the last team to three-peat in the NBA, and he was a big reason for them. He might have been the reason for them. His averages for them? Look below. 2000 NBA Finals, 38.0 points, and 16.7 rebounds. 2001 NBA Finals, 33.0 points and 15.8 rebounds. 2002 NBA Finals, 36.3 points and 12.3 rebounds. One word, dominant. 1. Wilt Chamberlain, two-time NBA champion, four-time NBA MVP, 13-time NBA All-Star, seven-time All-NBA First Team, three-time All-NBA Second Team. The most dominant player of all time, maybe in all of sports. No single individual has touched the numbers Wilt ever did. Forget about touching, they have not even come close. Whether it is dropping 100 points or grabbing 55 rebounds in a single game, Wilt has all of them covered. In the 1961-62 season, the great man averaged 50.4 points and 25.7 rebounds for a whole season. That is not a typo, you read that correctly. The leader for the most points scored in a single season belongs to Wilt, when he totaled a staggering 4,029 points in the aforementioned season. Number 2 on that list? Wilt the Stilt with 3,586 points in the 1962-63 season. He also has the most 50 points game in the season, when he accumulated 45 of them in the 1961-62 season. No other player has 45 in their entire career. And he was a rebounding machine too, with career averages of 22.9 rebounds per game, the highest in league history, and a career total of 23,924 rebounds, also an NBA record. Not only that, he also has the most number of seasons with 1,000 rebounds or more, with 13. We can go on, but the point is simple. The history of the game has never seen someone dominating the game with utter ease, eye-popping and jaw-dropping numbers. A true giant of the game. Records that make him sound like a myth. For such reasons and many more, Wilt Chamberlain is the most dominant player in the history of the NBA.